Hey everyone, welcome to the Vince&Al Podcast. This is episode 2. I'm Vince,
And I'm Al.
and we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. This is, our second episode, but it's still the beginning of our journey on this channel. We want you to act as if you're here with us. We're going to try to make you laugh, and we're just going to talk, and we're going to try to have as much fun as we can. Now that this is our first official episode that is not an introduction, what we like to do is to start talking about our topics. We have a little game that we're gonna do. Alan?
Yeah, it's a game, but it's going to be, the main focus of each episode. In terms of we're trying to get, to have a topic, obviously to talk about a podcast and something that will hopefully interest our viewers, as in you guys. And so we kind of developed a game where obviously you can't see anything, but Vince here made an awesome dice, and on each side there's a different category, and based on the episode, for example, this is Vince's episode, and so what we have is obviously six categories. Do you want to name the six?
Yeah, so the 6 categories are movies, sports, pop culture, sneakers, world culture, and a wild card. You know, Al and I, we love shoes, movies, sports. However, we think it's really important to talk about some stuff going on. We're talking, world news, U.S. pop culture. That could be music, viral videos. And then our wild card, though, that's whatever we want, something that's just on our mind we want to bring up, we go for it. So yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll this dice, and whatever side it lands on, I'm gonna talk about that topic, and we're gonna take 2 rolls. And then the next episode will be Al's, his topics and what he wants to talk about. So Al, would you like to have the first roll?
I'll have the first roll of hopefully many rolls.
Go for it.
All right, here we go.
It might be a little loud, so might want to turn down your
Hopefully
volume.
one day you can see how awesome this is. Well, here we go.
Ooh, okay, so
Your thing.
yeah, so
Movies.
it's my topic, and what the dice land on is movies. So I think that this is a pretty broad category,
As are most.
and exactly, and I feel like any relative were to ask you this question at, let's just say, a graduation party, because they don't know what else to ask you except how's school going, you ready for school, all that boring stuff that really nobody cares about. So my question is have you seen any good movies lately? But specifically, ones this summer. Have you ventured out to see any in theaters? And if not, I can make a couple recommendations.
um, so before I answer that question,
Yeah.
Vince and I have, you know, different interests in terms of, um, we're very similar in some ways, but he has interests. He's more has more knowledge on movies and the sneaker game, while sports is my strong suit. But I think it will help me venture out into more things such as movies and stuff like that. To answer your question on the movie that I've seen,
If any of, and if not,
the
that's
only
totally
movie
cool.
I saw this summer was Cars 3.
Okay, that's solid.
It's a good movie. I grew up loving cars as most boys do.
Absolutely.
I have a little brother. He loves cars, and so
Makes perfect sense.
I took him out to the movie theater.
Huh.
Him and I. It was fun. Um,
Did he like it?
he loved it.
He ate it up.
He
Awesome.
loved it. I think it was cool to spend time with his big brother, and
Absolutely.
to go into depth. I wish. Spoiler alert.
Don't reveal the ending, but you can give a little tidbit here and there.
All right. Well, I wish things ended differently. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Was it a tragic ending or a little bit nice?
Have you seen it?
I have not.
You have not. Okay,
So
that's
this
fine. Okay.
tragic, or is
it's
it kind
it's
of?
not tragic at all. It's
I didn't,
actually
I didn't think
it's
so.
I think it's emotional. It kind of set itself up for a Cars 4, but I'm not sure if Pixar is gonna
Interesting.
go in that direction.
Yeah, I know
It
that.
kind of did. It's not like a guarantee, but I could see
Yeah,
how they go into a Cars 4.
I know opening weekend it got 58 million. Now this came out one week before Transformers 5 the last night. The Last Night ended up getting about 52 million.
Okay.
You're talking about a Pixar property that you have the kid audience, you have the adult audience, because Pixar makes some pretty well-crafted movies.
For all, yeah.
Yeah, for all ages. There's always some dark stuff in there for the adults. Um, and it's crazy to see this movie go up against a big action blockbuster like Transformers. However, not to rag on Cars, I know that from everything I've read on the movie sites that Pixar and Disney were not necessarily pleased with those 58 million box office numbers. That's nothing to snooze at. They definitely made their budget back. So if we ever see a Cars 4, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe possibility. We try to keep this to about like 7 minutes per segment. But I'm gonna make a quick couple recommendations for summer movies. Man, what a year it's been for superhero movies. Talking to so many people, they said in the old days, westerns were out every year, multiple westerns a year, and then it was like those big disaster movies, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like your 2012s and your what's it called? The Day After Tomorrow, Twister, all that stuff.
Sharknado.
Right, Sharknado, and then there's a new one with Jeff Goldblum coming out called Geostorm. That looks pretty good. But well now current days it's superhero movies. There's up to 3 to 6 super movies that come out a year.
Yeah.
Marvel at least makes 2 a year. Fox makes 1 a year, and DC, if they're lucky, sometimes 2 a year, maybe just 1.
What does Fox make?
Fox has they do a Fantastic Four rights, but
okay.
they're mostly X-Men.
Oh, that's Fox?
Yeah, it's Fox. Okay. Yeah. So quick recommendation here. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The first one was something monumental. I think that it's going to be this generation's Star Wars. It's a whole new world with a new galaxy with so many different planets and just really fascinating characters you can really sink your teeth in.
So
go for it.
I love. I'm not huge on movies, but I love Marvel. How it's all connected.
It's all connected. It's incredible.
And I saw this one like website where it had like all the movies that's come out since like 2008. I think it started with Thor. I think, didn't it?
It started with Iron Man.
And
then it was internet, or not internet, but listeners, I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I think it was Iron Man, and then Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, then Thor, then Captain America.
Okay.
Yeah.
It had an order. It had even like Agents of Shield, like the TV show.
Agents of Shield. Yeah.
Agents of Shield. Yeah. But it had it all in order. If it were in order, it would put all of it together. But
it's one giant timeline.
It's really cool. I like it a lot.
The way that my family and I view it is each superhero movie, it's an episode, right? And then when you have an Avengers or a team up movie, that's like the season finale. You know what I mean? It's like an ongoing TV show. And kind of running out of time for this segment, but so Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I did not like as much as the first.
Okay.
It's, I think, much darker than the first.
Really?
But I've talked to a lot of people and they like it better than the first. The soundtrack, although it doesn't have nearly as many hits as the first one, that's one of the, I think the soundtrack sold more than the DVD did.
Wow.
Actually, soundtrack, people said it was the best movie soundtrack to this day. Anyways, I don't think the soundtrack was as good. However, I think there's more hits on that soundtrack than there were on the first one. Then you had Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I heard it's really good.
Right, and it's it's not because I want to see it. Of course I want to see it. It's just I have to be picky and choosy about which movies I want to see.
Yeah.
Because it's not exactly the cheapest thing to go as a family to go see some movies. I've only heard great things. And there's a small chance I might be seeing it tomorrow. And if so, maybe I'll have a review for episode 4 of our podcast. The last comic book movie was Spider-Man Homecoming, and that was a fantastic movie. I feel that I think it's a little overrated because I think people are saying it's so great. I think there was redeeming stuff about the Tobey Maguire movies. I think there's also equally redeeming stuff about the Andrew Garfield movies. However, nobody's complaining about this movie at all. I think it's just something very agreeable. I think the villain was something really inventive, and it really had a John Hughes style. You've seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
It was just like that, except with a superhero, and it was so cool.
That's
there was
awesome.
even a scene, minor spoiler, where Spider-Man is running through a neighborhood, and they're playing the music when Ferris Bueller is trying to beat his principal home or his parents or something like that. And as he runs through a little girl's backyard, they have the girl watching Ferris Bueller has Ferris Bueller's running through the yard.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
it was the funniest thing ever. It's a very clever movie, so I would suggest it. And there's some other movies I would love to get to, but we're running out of time. So that's my summer movie breakdown for you.
All right.
All right.
Let's.
So
Would you want to roll second?
yes, I'll roll second. This is our final topic for this episode.
Landed on movies. We're gonna
Landed on movies again. I guess I'm bad luck, so I'll give it another roll.
World news.
World news. Okay. This is where Al and I are not trying to get political at all. We are just trying to give our opinions in a light way, just to give you something to think about. We're not trying to take jabs at anybody. This is just to hang out and talk like we normally would.
Yeah.
So if don't let this rub you the wrong way. This is just topics worth bringing up. We feel. So I'm down to two things here, and let me look at these. All right. So once again, not to hurt anybody's feelings here.
No, there's no.
Quick question. I feel that veterans from war or just from serving in the Navy Corps, even if they haven't even seen, any action, even though they're just stationed, being away from their family, I think that veterans or, military men and women in service, I think that they're mistreated. Would you agree with that statement?
Mistreated. I wouldn't. I don't know. I think here we treat our veterans much better than other countries. But it's also different, as in other countries treat their veterans better than we do here. I think we're in the middle. I guess we do give a lot of benefits to veterans, all of those things. But I do think, and obviously, if you see someone in a uniform walking, or I was just at Gettysburg, and it was awesome. It was really awesome to see. There's like this huge like tour of young men and women in the army, just walking through Gettysburg, which I thought was powerful. And I just walking by them just gives you, I wouldn't say you're proud of your country, but
Absolutely.
there's just something in your stomach. You're like, wow. So there's respect.
You almost don't even know what to say sometimes, except thank you for your service.
I'm scared. Sometimes I'm scared. I'm like, wow, I have so much respect for these guys.
I was downtown, and not necessarily saying what area, but I was downtown, and there were about 4 or 5 people on the ground doing sit-ups and push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were 2 men standing wearing Marine Corps shirts.
Wow.
And you know how crazy that was to see that? I'm like, wow, that's a Marine right in front of me. Maybe he was on the front lines. I don't even know. I've never met him. But I know what that shirt means. I know a hero when I see one.
Exactly.
And I wanted to say so badly, sir, thank you so much. Just by shaking your hand, there's nothing more I can give you than a firm handshake and just say thank you. But that really goes a long way for some people. And you know what? I couldn't hike up the nerve to do it. And that car ride home, I was kicking myself, and I said, that's never going to happen again. I'm always going to go out of my way to thank someone for their service. And why do I say that? Well, I had a very influential history teacher in my life. And he said that he was at Perkins, the restaurant,
Yeah.
and there was a Marine, and he had a prosthetic leg on. And he was going up to the free salad bar, and he was loading some croutons on his plate, right? And he said, man, just seeing that guy's prosthetic leg, it's like, and then you're eating your meal, going home to maybe watch a movie, and you're fine. Maybe you have to worry about paying your rent, but you're fine. And then there's that man over there that also was fighting for your life. The least he deserves is a thank you. And I remember my history teacher saying he walked over, thanked him, and the veteran started to cry and said, no one has told me that in years, thanking him for his service. I'm like, wow, if just the littlest thing you can say to a veteran or to someone
I
in the
think for
service,
anyone,
it
even.
it goes such a long way. I think people underestimate how powerful compliments are. They could really make someone's day. And you don't necessarily have to go out of your way to compliment somebody, but if it's something that you truly believe in and you feel like that person needs to hear it, like I happen to think veterans do need to hear a thank you,
Hmm.
then yeah, go out of your way and just say thank you. You don't have to agree with my opinions, but it's something I definitely feel passionate about.
I do think it is.
But it's difficult to do. Do not get me wrong.
Yeah,
It's
I think
not
it's
for everybody.
complicated because in a way, they're treated very very well as they should be.
Right.
But in a way, like you said, how he was brought to tears. I think people dis-
They don't know how to
take advantage.
react.
I think people also take advantage. I don't think they realize and recognize, how much these men and women, they've just given it everything they've had. Um, I don't know, they just risk their lives. And they don't have to be on the line or anything. They just sacrifice their lives and their time for the well-being of the country that you are in.
Absolutely.
And I think I don't know. There's a lot of things. I think uh, we say that we treat them well, but I don't know. Like I said, it's really complicated, and we could keep talking about this, but
We we honestly could keep talking about this. One last thing that I want to bring up before we go. Um, what is it? What does it make you feel when you see um a homeless veteran?
um,
This is
that
kind of
actually brings
deep.
up a topic. One more thing that I want to talk about is
We got to make it be.
the men who were on the line. They suffered their PTSD. Um, yeah, is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, PTSD.
And I think I'm not gonna say that's what calls homelessness, but um, people who are homeless typically have an issue, um, with them most likely mentally,
Sure.
and I think the pains of that PTSD could lead to alcoholism, addictions. I don't know. I think it
Sure.
breaks my heart to see homeless veterans. I don't think we should have a veteran who sacrificed their life and then end up on the streets where no one pays
Yeah.
attention to them.
It's definitely an injustice, that's for sure.
But
But at the same time,
it's
it's some stuff like that is just hard to explain.
yeah.
So we're gonna leave you with that. But before we go, we always like to try to add a quote here and there, something just to think about. So maybe this podcast will give you some meaning, right? This quote is by Muhammad Ali. It is one of my favorites. And here we go. It isn't the mountains ahead to climb that wear you down. It's the pebble in your shoe. I'll say it again one more time. It isn't the mountains ahead to climb that wear you down. It's the pebbles in your shoe. Pretty much saying it's not about your fears. It's not what's ahead of you. It's the stuff from your past that I'm not saying you have to worry about, but it's just stuff you have to always be conscious and aware of. So just a little something to leave you guys
That's
with.
for you to decide what that means.
Absolutely. Quotes can be interpreted any way you want. But hey guys, thank you so much for listening. This has been the Vince&Al Podcast. We hope to, you know, I hope that this was entertaining for you guys just a little bit, and you'll definitely be hearing from us soon. Episode 3 is on the way,
Coming up.
coming up. So thank you guys. Take care.
See ya.